Hello fellow YouTubers, this is DVD Collector 1986 here with another video. This is going to be the second part of my collection update for this month, and I've got quite a few movies here, so I'm just going to get into it. First up is Zodiac. This is a 2-disc Blu-ray edition, and the second disc has a bunch of documentaries on it, and I'm a real big fan of documentaries, behind the scenes things, so I definitely had to pick this up. Pretty good movie too, scary one, that's for sure. And next, I had this in my collection. This should have been part of the previous video, but I forgot to grab it off of the shelf, and this was actually a birthday gift from my friend Laurie, who lives in Texas, and I forgot to show this in my previous video, so I made sure to go pull this off the shelf so I could definitely show it in this video. And that would be the 4K release of Willy's Wonderland. I love this movie. This is a Shout Factory 4K Collector's Edition. Like I said, I love this movie. The fact that Nicolas Cage doesn't say a word in this movie is amazing to me. When any movie can keep the audience's attention and keep them interested and make it really interesting, but yet the characters in that movie, whatever movie it is, the characters don't speak, but the movie's still really interesting. To me, that's really, really neat, because you don't see that very often in a lot of movies. Speaking of that concept, I've had it in my collection for a long time, but if you like movies like that where the characters don't really speak but the movie's really good, check out a movie with Robert Redford called All Is Lost. It's a really good one. Next, another Shout Factory Collector's Edition. This is The Haunting of Julia, also known as Full Circle. And this is a really good movie from the early 70s. I really enjoyed it. This was an upgrade. This is the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre on 4K. Now, if you do decide to pick this up, be aware that it's not a combo pack. A lot of times when you buy a movie on 4K, you'll get the 4K disc with the movie on it, and they'll also include a Blu-ray, usually, that has the movie on it. The movie is only on the 4K disc. There is a second Blu-ray disc, but that disc only contains special features and documentaries. The movie is not included on Blu-ray in this set. So if you do get this on 4K, but you're like me and you also like to have everything you have on 4K, you also like to have at least on Blu-ray, because you may not have a 4K player in every room. So what I would suggest is keep your previous Blu-ray release. That way you have this movie on Blu-ray as well as 4K. That movie looked really good on 4K, by the way. Here is a sort of found footage horror film. The house is October built. I honestly, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not the biggest fan of found footage, movies. But this one was pretty good. I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad to have it in my collection. There's only certain found footage films that I like. I like the Blair Witch Project. I like Paranormal Activity, and Wreck is another good one. And also, if you want to go full on scary, I always liked the movie Grave Encounters, about that paranormal investigative team that goes to that abandoned asylum, and you can tell that they're not real ghost hunters. That clearly they stage everything, and they mock the ghosts. If there are ghosts there, they make jokes and all this stuff. And then the movie takes a massive turn because they find out that the abandoned asylum is in fact haunted, and things get real interesting after that. So, but those are some found footage films that I actually do like quite a bit. Now, this is a David Cronenberg movie. This is from the Vestron Collectors series. That would be Shivers. And I've heard that's a good movie, but I actually haven't seen it yet, so I can't really comment on it. Next, this is a movie with Mickey Rourke and Robert De Niro. Angel Heart. Pretty good movie. Pretty freaky movie. And very unsettling, and very scary in certain parts. And it's sort of a mystery film too, because you kind of piece together and figure out what's going on as the movie goes along. So I like movies that do that. Next, this is a movie starring Julia Roberts and a bunch of other famous actors too. That would be August Osage County. I thought this movie was pretty good. I enjoyed it. However, this movie ended up not being the kind of movie that I thought it was going to be. And again, that's not a bad thing. But I went into it thinking, oh, the movie's going to go this direction, and it's going to be this kind of movie. And then it ends up being something else, which is kind of surprising in a good way. But this is a really good movie. I definitely would recommend that you check it out. Next, this is the latest of the Leprechaun franchise. That would be Leprechaun Returns. I actually enjoyed this movie quite a bit. It's basically a requel. They basically, with this movie, they ignore all the movies after the first Leprechaun film, and this is basically a sequel, a direct sequel to the first Leprechaun. So this is basically a alternate Leprechaun Part 2, and I thought this was pretty good. Kind of funny. It's more funny than you would think, in a dark humor sort of way, but it was pretty entertaining, and I enjoyed it, and you can have a lot of fun with this movie. Next, Now I tried to, I got it was the Blu-ray by itself with no cover art, so no case, no cover art. So I got a good deal on it. But when I went to print out the artwork, it turned out that the size of the artwork was not exactly the right size, and the artwork ended up being smaller than it should have been. So I'm gonna have to redo the artwork on this. But this is Pretty Woman with Julia Roberts again and Richard Gere as well. Next, this is an upgrade. The Hunt for Red October with Sean Connery and Alec Baldwin. I really enjoy that movie as well. Now, this next movie, oddly enough, was out of print. But I happened to get a really good deal on it on eBay, and so I'm glad to have it in the collection now. Now it's a Blu-ray, but it's not. It's not one that has like a bunch of special features. The only special feature that's on here is like an audio commentary, and that's about it. But it is in HD because it's on a Blu-ray, and and I'm not the biggest fan of the films that the director of this movie has done. I just some people love his movies. They're not really my cup of tea, but this movie right here is the exception. I really do enjoy this movie, which is why I had to get it on Blu-ray, and that is Soldier, starring Kurt Russell. This is a movie from 1998. If you want to see a really cool late 90s action movie, check this out. It's really good. And Paul W.S. Anderson directed this. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of his movies, but like I said, I love the movie Soldier. Next, we have some Shout Factory titles here. These are not 4K. These are just they're new releases, but they're just on standard Blu-ray. This one is Stephen King's The Shining. This is not the 1980s movie, obviously. This is the 1997. It was a TV miniseries. I don't remember what channel it came on, but I'm going to tell you, this may be an unpopular opinion. I actually really enjoy this movie. I have seen the 1980s it's Stephen King based on his book, but it was directed by Stanley Kubrick, the one that has Jack Nicholson in it. I do enjoy that movie. However, that movie does not scare me the way this one does. Long story short, I think this movie has creepier music. It has like this eerie, ghostly choir type music that goes with it. That's really creepy. That honestly, they didn't have that in the original movie, the Stanley Kubrick one. And so the music was good in this. I thought the acting was well. The actor that plays the kid, he's annoying. I will give you that. But I enjoyed Steven Weber, or is it Steven Weber or Jake Weber? I believe it's Steven Weber. Steven Weber and Rebecca De Mornay's performance in this was pretty good, and they actually shot this at the Stanley Hotel, which in the movie obviously is called the Overlook. But the Stanley Hotel is an actual hotel that exists in Colorado, I believe. and that is the actual hotel that Stephen King stayed at that inspired him to write the book The Shining. So I never understood the hate that this movie or miniseries has gotten over the years. There's a lot of diehard fans of the original. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I think that the original one is overrated. I own it on 4K. It is a good movie, but if I'm forced to choose between this and the original, it's going to be this one. I've seen this one more than the original. I find this one scarier than the original, and it's better made. And the main reason why I don't understand why people hate this movie so much is the fact that everybody knows that Stephen King is not a fan of the Stanley Kubrick version of The Shining. And that's because if you compare this with the original, this version is much, much closer to what the book is. And this was actually made with Stephen King's involvement. That's why it actually says Stephen King's The Shining. I always thought this movie was superior to the original. Like I said, that may be an unpopular opinion, but that's really how I feel about it. And I've always thought that this one was better than the original. So I'm glad to have it in my collection. Now we have another Stephen King story that was adapted into a movie. This is also a Shout Factory Blu-ray release, and that would be Stephen King's Thinner. Now, an interesting little fact about this movie, the actor who plays the main character in this movie, the guy who basically starts getting thinner and thinner as the movie goes on, his name is Robert John Burke. Now, for those of you who may not know who he is, Robert John Burke is the same guy who played RoboCop in the movie RoboCop 3, which I thought was pretty neat. And I do have a few other 4K titles here to show, but I'm going to save the best for last. So I'm going to show you these first. I have a couple of DVDs here. One of them is it's one of these Warner Brothers. It has 4 movies in it. It's like a quadruple feature. It's called the 4 Film Favorites Kurt Russell Collection from WB. And believe it or not, Soldier is in this set on DVD. But the reason I got it is because of these other 3 movies that I didn't have at all. Executive Decision, Tequila Sunrise, there in the bottom corner, and then the movie Unlawful Entry, starring Ray Liotta. However, Kurt Russell is in all 4 of these, obviously, because this is a Kurt Russell collection. But all 4 of these movies are really good. Now, obviously, I have Soldier on Blu-ray now, but if you've never seen Soldier or any of these other movies, I highly recommend picking up this 4-film collection. You can get it on eBay pretty cheap, and I think I paid $8 for this. So if you do the math, that's $2 a movie, because there's 4 movies in here, which is a really good deal. And these each of these movies is excellent. So I highly recommend this one. And lastly, for the DVDs, and I heard someone on YouTube talking about this, and it sounded interesting to me, and so I had to pick it up. And I'm a big fan of behind the scenes stuff, of documentaries, and specifically, I love documentaries about horror films. And like a documentary dedicated all to one particular film, or a documentary that's dedicated to an entire franchise of films. I love that stuff. And I am a fan of this movie. Now you're asking, well, what documentary is it? This is, it's called Best Worst Movie. The story behind the best worst movie ever made, Troll 2. So this is a documentary all about the story of the movie Troll 2, which is a very cheesy, weird movie. But I own both of the Troll films, and I didn't even know that they made a documentary for this, and so I had to pick it up. And it was a really good documentary. I really enjoyed this, so I highly recommend this as well. Now, I have 3 other titles here, and so, like I said, I'm going to save the best for last, so here we go. Now, as soon as I say this, y'all will probably know exactly what movies these are, but all 3 of these are James Cameron directed films. And prior to these releases on 4K, these movies, you could only get them on DVD. Well, 2 of them you could only get on DVD. The other one was released on Blu-ray. But as for the other 2, they never even got a Blu-ray release. So for 2 of these movies, it's the first time on 4K or Blu-ray even. But for all 3, this is the first time on 4K, and I'm here to tell you, these movies look amazing on 4K, and they're loaded with extras and special features. And they call them the Ultimate Collector's Edition. That all 3 of these have that description. So anyway, I'm gonna just get to it. True Lies, one of my personal favorites. The Abyss. I love this movie. And the movie that really defined my childhood, and by that I mean this was a movie I watched constantly. I mean, I watched this movie so many times when I was a kid. Like, I could literally not watch this movie for like 10 years, and I could still, 10 years from now, I could still quote this movie. I know this movie backwards, forwards, upside down, every other way. I know every single line to this movie. I know the names of all the characters. I love this movie, and that is James Cameron's Aliens. And I know people watching this might be wondering, which movie do you prefer? Because this is a question that's been asked for many years among the fans of the Alien franchise. Are you a fan of Alien, or are you a fan of Aliens? I'm a fan of Aliens. I love the first Alien, don't get me wrong. I own that movie too. I love it. But I will always be a bigger fan of Aliens. And I am here to tell you, of these 3 movies here, the one that has the absolute best transfer, and they just went all out. Like, If you were only going to buy one of these three 4Ks, buy this one. This movie, they did such a good job restoring it to 4K and color correcting it and just fixing it up, polishing it. And no, they didn't DNR it or anything like that. The digital noise reduction or digital noise removal. They didn't do any of that. This 4K restoration for this movie was done right, and I popped this in on my 4K player. I have a 50-inch 4K TV. However, it's a very small room, and I sit very, very close to it, which is why I don't need a 4K TV bigger than 50 inches in that room. But I sit like 3 feet from the screen, so I can see every single detail. And watching movies in my movie room is like watching movies at the theater because you get the best seat, and the screen is so big, being that close to me, that I can see every single detail. And I am telling you, they did an amazing job on the transfer for this movie. For anybody that was afraid that, because this is a James Cameron movie, that this transfer was going to be subpar because a lot of people didn't like the 4K release for Terminator 2. I'm here to tell you the problems with the Terminator 2 4K, that stuff, none of that is present on this release. This movie, literally, I know people have said this many times, but watching this on 4K was like watching this for the first time again. This almost felt like I was watching a different movie. And what I mean by that is the 4K transfer on this movie was so good that I saw things all throughout the movie, little details in the image that I had never seen before, because the 4K HD transfer on this was so good that there was stuff that you could see on this that you couldn't see on the previous Blu-ray release. This will really surprise you if you watch this. So like I said, of these three, if you're only going to get one, pick this one up. However, I highly recommend all three. And a close second, right after Aliens, The Abyss is the one with the next best transfer. It's almost as good as Aliens, and this is loaded with special features. In particular, Aliens and this one both, these truly are ultimate collector's editions, because every single extra, special feature, documentary, all that stuff from every other previous release has been ported over to these 4K releases. So you get the movie on 4K, you get the movie on Blu-ray, and in the case of Aliens in the Abyss, not only do you get the movies on 4K and Blu-ray, but on 4K and Blu-ray, you get two different versions of the film. You get the theatrical versions and the extended versions. Plus, you get all the extras for both movies from every other previous home video release. So they really outdid themselves with those. Now, True Lies doesn't look as good as the other two on 4K, but it's still an upgrade, because this movie was only available on DVD, just like The Abyss was only available on DVD. Both The Abyss and True Lies skipped Blu-ray, and this is the first HD release for True Lies and The Abyss on 4K, and it's also, the Blu-ray is included on these, so it's also the first time for these movies on Blu-ray. So this movie wasn't as good looking as the other two. However, it's a really good upgrade, and compared to the DVD I used to have, this is leaps and bounds better. And even though this release of True Lies here doesn't have as much special features as The Abyss and Aliens did, there is a cool documentary on here called Fear is Not an Option, a look back at True Lies. So there actually is some special features, as well as some, I believe, some audio commentaries, if I'm not mistaken. And it says "and more." So there's some stuff on here. So this came with some special features, which is cool because the old DVD just had the movie and I think the theatrical trailer on it, and that was it. So, but that will do it for this collection update. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have an awesome day. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe out there. And I will catch you guys on the next video. Thanks.